Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, welcome in to Vikings Vent Line, the Purple Daily post-game edition here live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We got the sports dad from US Bank Stadium right now in the press box. Dex holding it down, spinning plates, and taking your requests at VikingsVentLine@gmail.com. And I am Phil Mackey. This is the People's Show, the most fan-friendly show in all of Minnesota sports. And after a game like that, it'll be a therapy session for about the next couple hours here. So we're gonna turn the show over to you guys as we usually do. Again, you can request to be a part of the show by emailing VikingsVentLine@gmail.com. Keep it clean. Don't get us in too much trouble. And try to get to your point pretty quickly because we're going to try and get to as many therapy sessions as possible. Before we give our main takeaways from a 28-22 home loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, Judd, a couple things. North American Banking Company powering Vikings Vent Line, and Quick Trip. I don't know, man. Quick Trip, maybe they can help with the therapy here. Maybe I can binge snack or something by stopping into Quick Trip.
That's a fantastic idea, because how about this? If you are craving something sweet, step into the flavor of a good old-fashioned bake sale, Quick Trip style. What about that? Satisfy that sweet tooth with their premium donuts, now just $2.99 for a 3-pack. Choose from Quick Trip's fluffy Long John's, classic big Bismarcks, or ring donuts as well. Delicious, just like the ones that came from your hometown bakery. Quick Trip's premium donuts, now only $2.99 again for a 3-pack. You talk about something that's going to make you feel good on a Monday after a tough Sunday. That is a sweet deal, so treat yourself only at Quick Trip.
Let's get right into it here. Just, Judd, your biggest takeaway from this 28-22 home loss to the Eagles.
Oh, I'm disgusted. They completely lost a game. They lost a game that the football gods kept trying to give them. And
Yeah.
I could scatter my disgust. Carson Wentz defense in the second half.
Well, you are the pie chart chef for tomorrow,
yeah,
so
everyone's
you will
going
get to do that tomorrow.
Yes, and everyone's going down here. Everyone, Will Riker, you get a break, okay? You had a great day. Red zone offense, some of the play calling, Wentz's. We did get the entire Carson Wentz car wash, though. Like, we got the entire experience, from the terrible to him improvising to the fact that he can't hit Justin Jefferson in one series on 3 plays. He was nowhere near a guy who catches almost everything. And I don't blame. Look, Addison and Jefferson did their parts, but my God, that is a loss. The difference is this: you look back at the Falcons game, right, and they stunk. They stunk. It's frustrating, but they stunk. And you're like, that's a loss. That's a bad loss, but that's a loss. This one's going to come back to bite you in the ass, because Philadelphia and the football gods sat there today, missed field goal opportunities in the second half. Just come back and take the game. And the Vikings puked it up. So I am extremely frustrated by what we saw.
Not to influence the Chef Judd for the pie chart tomorrow, the pie chart of blame off this loss, but I think there were 3... I don't know if they're equal reasons for the loss, but 3 main headlines for why the Vikings lost this game. Settling for field goals in the red zone is definitely in the 3. The 2 terrible interceptions by Carson Wentz. The pick 6, he did stand in there and took a huge shot to the midsection, but he did not see the linebacker. Was it an edge rusher? I can't remember who picked that off. Kind of dropped back into coverage, and so either way, that was probably headed for disaster. And then the Vikings defense, Brian Flores and the Vikings defense basically said, Jalen Hurts, go ahead and try to beat us. We're gonna try and corral you in the pocket. We are going to attempt to limit the run game, and they did a good job on Saquon Barkley. And if Jalen Hurts beats us over the top, then I guess you tip your cap, and you're gonna have to tip your cap. Because Jalen Hurts hit 3 long touchdown passes, and then the game sealer to A.J. Brown, which could have been a touchdown if he wanted it to be. By the way, Isaiah Rodgers, who had a couple things to say this week on social media about his former organization and who wanted who to come back or not, and he was the victim of at least 2 of those long balls. But the Vikings defense got absolutely smoked in the highest leverage spots on deep passes against one of the most struggling offenses in the league through the first 2 months.
I feel like Brian Flores needs to be sat down and talked to about who Josh Metellus is. And here's where it's biting you in the ass, and we called this in the summer. They don't want to play Okudah. So they're trying to keep him off the field as much as possible. So as Phil said, I think on the text thread, they're playing 3 safeties, okay? A.J. Brown being guarded by or being covered by Josh Metellus, which is what it was. Like, there's no mix-up there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He is a box safety hybrid linebacker who maybe can take some nickel snaps. That's your coverage plan? If that's your coverage plan because you don't want to play Okudah, then you messed up as bad as we said that you did by having Jeff Okudah on your team playing a nickel role that you don't think he can truly play.
Okudah, by the way, I think if the snap count that I'm looking at is right, he played 11 snaps in this game. So maybe this is like not quite up to date, but he played very few snaps today. And he's your third cornerback, to your point. And I think the Vikings defensively and Brian Flores and the personnel decisions they've made over the last couple of years have built up so much equity and benefit of the doubt that you kind of say, all right, well, I mean, hell, he's seen something in all these other players. Blake Cashman, like, he's built up a ton of goodwill with personnel decisions that, you know, we're just idiots on the outside looking in. I mean, seems a little rickety to have Jeff Okudah as your third cornerback and then nothing else of substance behind that you can lean on. And I think, like, there's a lot of games where you can get away schematically the way they play with just 2 traditional cornerbacks and then these hybrid sort of safeties that they run out there, right? And you can get away with it, and they have. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, if you're talking best wide receiver duos in the NFL, I think Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson are going to have a say. But in that Mount Rushmore are the guys you face today. And it would be nice to have more than 2 cornerbacks that you can lean on, even against a team that doesn't hit a lot of big passing games. But I think it was a perfect passer rating for Jalen Hurts in this one. Yeah, 158.3, 326 yards, 14 yards per attempt, almost 20 yards per completion. And it's in part because you don't have a lot of guys that can cover one-on-one on the out. When you are, it sounds to me like, according to, because we didn't get to see the all 22, like Greg Olsen gets to watch the whole game. A lot of single high, we dare you to beat us over the top. And how many times did you see either Metellus or Isaiah Rodgers, who's been your best cover corner, 7 yards behind a streaking Eagles wide receiver? So this was about as badly as a Brian Flores defense has gotten it handed to him since he joined the Vikings. Dex, what was your main takeaway?
I know a lot of people are probably going to come on here and say, wow, Dex, Carson Wentz, that was pretty brutal. You've been maybe warning us about this, and it was awful. We got the full, Judd said, the car wash experience, not even the pick 6 and the other one where he got lit up or just threw a kind of a heave ball in his end zone. The intentional grounding was an absolute drive killer. Like, what are you doing? He threw behind the sticks or behind the line of scrimmage out of bounds that also backed them up. I don't care if that ankle is at 80%. J.J. McCarthy has to start on Thursday night and a short week. You cannot keep doing this with Carson Wentz. The defense, in my opinion, throughout the first half, held them in check. The red zone trips for the offense, they got down there. They weren't able to convert for 6 and touchdowns, but they can't do it. This cannot continue anymore. If I'm Kevin O'Connell and I'm the Vikings, I'm making the switch, and it's time to start your era. Spencer Rattler looks really good today. Drake May is entering MVP conversation, in my opinion, with how he's been playing. These quarterbacks from that draft class are starting to play. I know there's been some circumstance with injuries hurting McCarthy from getting on the field, but it's time, man. It's absolutely time to unleash J.J. McCarthy, and I'm not saying results be damned, but let the dude run away with it and let's see what he's got.
I think Carson went, as we call on the show, blue screen of death at least 6 times. I was just documenting some of the. You could feel pretty early on. Oh, this is going to be. He's got the shoulder that he's probably thinking about, and the center. It's a second time ever center again in Blake Brandel. We're going to get that version of Carson Wentz today. I'd love to go back and look at the film, as they say, but I think he missed 2 touchdown opportunities to Jordan Addison in the first quarter. Addison was 10 yards behind a defender, and they completed the pass, but it took him like contorting his body and catching it before he falls out of bounds. I think that was a touchdown if Wentz just puts the ball out in front of him. And then was it a play or 2 later in the red zone? And again, Greg Olsen has access to the the sort of end zone all 22 cam, and he can see more things than we can on the broadcast. He missed Addison on a little like flat route that looked like a walk-in touchdown, both on that drive. The other one, Declan mentioned the intentional grounding, the intercept, the YOLO ball on the 2nd and 25. That was just a bizarre sequence. But before that, to set up the 2nd and 25, he had that wildly inaccurate backwards pass that cost the Vikings 10 yards. So it was like every 25 minutes of real time, Carson Wentz was Carson Wentzing in that game. But then, of course, he shows some grit at times, and there's, that was the full experience from both terrible and even some of the good plays that he made.
That's just a terrible loss. Worst loss as far as I'm concerned of the entire season. Worst loss as far. I mean, everybody screwed the pooch, aside from the kicker.
Yeah.
Like you're
big like Bill bailed him out with a 59-yarder on.
And
that
you know
one
what?
Drive.
If your defense is not getting burned right and left, you actually could have won that football game with Wentz playing bad. So like it's so frustrating to me, the fact that you dropped a home game that, I mean, let's be honest, they might be defending Super Bowl champions. The Eagles have a lot of flaws, okay? Including their play calling at times, which I didn't get. But the key was, too, where the Vikings got an opportunity from God was when Cam Jurgens, their center, got hurt. Mm-hmm. It stalled their run game. Like, he was the key. When they came out and they had so much success with Barkley, that was Jurgens. He comes out, the protection goes down, the run game goes down as well, and they didn't capitalize. This is just beyond frustrating to me.
Yeah, it was there for the taking. They should be 4-2, and instead they gave up home run after home run and all the things we talked about. So we're going to turn this over to you guys, Vikings fans, here in a second. There's over 5,000 people hanging out with us right now, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button and the like button to keep spreading the word about the best and biggest Vikings podcast fan community on the internet. Purple Daily. Dex, who's first out of the gate here?
Yeah, let's go to, is it Sanji?
It's Sanji.
Sanji. What's up, Sanji?
Nice to meet you guys. Long-time listener or long-time follower, first time. Sorry. My husband is an Eagles fan, which is why he was very excited for the two of us to be on this today. But I know we've talked about Carson Wentz a little bit, so I'll keep this kind of short. Don't want to talk about the offense too much. But biggest things for me, I guess I will talk about the offense a little bit. 1 for 6 in the red zone on touchdowns was just absolutely embarrassing. I think we really should have done better there. And then also, generally speaking, I think we're missing Ryan Kelly a lot. I know our O-line hasn't been the best over the years, but Blake Brandel was just getting abused left and right. And I really think we need to clean that up. And then last thing I'll mention is that defense could have been better during this game, but I think that very last drive where the Eagles needed that first down to win the game, having single man-to-man coverage on A.J. Brown just was abominable in my opinion. So gonna keep that short. But yeah, been a listener for a very long time and love the work that you guys do. So Skol Vikes, and hopefully we have a better game on Thursday.
Thank you, Sanji, and pay no mind to your trolling Eagles fan boyfriend in the background. Yeah, what's kind of crazy is the Vikings have been one of the worst third down teams offensively in the NFL. They were 7 of 15 on. They had a couple third downs you'd like to have back, but they were 7 of 15 on third down. They averaged about 6 yards a play. Like, they were chunking the ball offensively, but it was the turnovers. It was like the highest leverage spots that they came up short again. And if you can flip a couple of those field goals into touchdowns, the game is totally different. But it's not just like, oh, the Eagles made a good play here and there. It's Wentz with a ridiculous intentional grounding. It's just self-inflicted stuff. Or there was a sequence where Kevin O'Connell, they're at the 6-yard line and it's a 2nd and 1. So, okay, maybe try a pass. That's whatever. Try a pass. And you got your backup center in there. But dude, you've got Donovan Jackson and Christian Darrisaw over here. Run the ball on 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, set up a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line, or just run it into the end zone. He just inexplicably forgets about the run game in the deep red area, which is the biggest reason why you got bounced from the season at the end of 2024.
He is bound and determined not to adjust, and I think he becomes more stubborn as people say that he should adjust. How about the slant pass to Jefferson? 18-yard gain, work of art. Like, that is okay, now we're on to something with Carson Wentz. Like, let's find what Carson Wentz can do well, not what you like. And That was sort of it. Like that the pass to Jefferson that was a 40-yard gain, which Justin did again, get the ball in his hands. I'll tell you what, the flea flicker, the reverse flea flicker, Justin Jefferson, I don't know if
Was it a Judd-approved trick play?
No, because here's the problem.
Okay.
It was, if it had stopped with the ball in 18's hands, I don't know if you could see it on TV. If Justin Jefferson keeps that ball, there is nothing but green. Everyone
But you
was
can't
pulled.
but you can't. You're saying that he should have just abandoned the play mid-sequence?
I'm saying if that play was designed in its course not to give the ball back to Wentz, by the way, who is going to be pooping his pants when you do that. Like I told you guys, he's a diaper quarterback.
He
He
got
literally
first down off that play.
He literally,
The
well, yeah,
hardest earned first down of all
because
time.
of a PI,
Yeah.
and the ball went to Hawkinson, and we could talk about him too because statistically he had a nice day. He's got nothing left though, man. He can barely run now. But anyway, if that play is designed for Jefferson to keep the ball, he had nothing but green in front of him. And do you think that Justin Jefferson, best player on the team, best player on the field, in my opinion, even with Smith and A.J. Brown, you think Justin Jefferson could have done a little something other than dish the ball back to Wentz, who's hyperventilating and makes a short throw, and they were fortunate to get a first down? That would have gone for, my estimation, at least 35 yards.
There is I'm more interested in the Hawkinson thread off of that because it's
Don't let the stats fool you, folks.
it's hard to, well, the stats aren't good. Like he's 7 yards per catch.
He dropped a few.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot after the catch.
It's winding down.
The diving catch in the end zone. It's hard to rip him for that because that was a full layout and very 50-50 even on the review there where you want to go with that. But it has felt like he's just kind of, he's certainly should not, he's not performing like one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. I think that's fair to say. And they signed him to that contract before the big injury, and it just feels like he's a different dude after the injury to this point.
Let's go to the stadium now. Let's go to Dylan. Dylan, you're at US Bank. What's going on?
Hey, Dylan.
Hey guys, hey Phil, hey Judd, hey Declan. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you, man.
All right, I have my wife here, Amber, as well. It's our second anniversary. We got married a couple years ago, and it was a good time going to visit the Vikings game. A little sad we couldn't come away with the win, but stadium had I'd say about 70% Vikings fans, 30% Eagles fans, I would say.
Wow.
A lot of our area, we were like on the main floor area, and there was a lot of Eagles fans around us, so that was kind of annoying, but that's okay. I do want to say that there is some positives to take away. Like, for example, Jalen Redmond was really good today. It looked like he was just all over the field. He looked really good. Eric Wilson had a couple sacks, or about 1.5 sacks as well. Like, the front four, it was really frustrating when they let Jalen Hurts run around, but their run defense and getting home a couple times was pretty good, I'd say. So there's some positives there. And then Jordan Addison had just a day with those out routes. They could not stop him. It was insane. Those out routes, every single time he was going out route for one drive. I think they did it 3 times in a row. It was insane. So it's really frustrating, but there are some positives to take away from this game as well.
Dylan, hey, happy anniversary. 2 years to you both. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bring in some positivity. I don't know if I already saw a fire positive Phil in here. I don't know how many people want to hear positivity after that game, but yeah, they were I get the conundrum with the pass rush because you're not just selling out to rush the passer with a mobile quarterback like that. You're trying to keep contain and get pressure up the middle, and they did a pretty good job at times. But to get some of that pressure, you're sending an extra guy or two, and you're trusting your cornerbacks and or your safeties, your Josh Metellises, to hang with 2 of the best receivers in the league one-on-one, and it didn't happen.
So let's actually go down the path of that first touchdown pass that I talked about with Metellus on A.J. Brown, which was a disaster in the coverage. But let's go back to that play because in that one, they actually did not send the pressure. Dallas Turner tried to apply pressure while everybody else sort of hung back because they were trying to contain Jalen Hurts.
It's a 3-man rush.
And it didn't work out. So, that's the thing. And I will say this on Hurts's behalf. Bringing him down, getting to him is one thing. It's very doable. Bringing him down once you get to him, I think, is extremely difficult. But this all comes back to your point, then, of who's in coverage. And look, I have not complained one bit thus far about the signing of Isaiah Rodgers, and I will not, okay? Tough day. but I get that. But the Okuda thing is a different, in my opinion, because we did talk about that extensively. But yeah, I mean, for anyone that thinks, after watching him today, for anyone who thinks Jalen Hurts is okay, he's an okay quarterback, he presents a lot of problems. And look, if there was a quarterback fight card today, a scorecard, it's a KO. It's not a TKO. It's a KO.
Yeah. All right, Dex, back to Vent Line here. Who's next out of the gate?
Yeah, I think Zach is walking out of the stadium. Zach, can you hear us? You're on Vent Line.
I got you. I wish I was walking out of the stadium. I am walking over some random swamp in Coon Rapids.
You know, might as well be the same thing after that performance today.
Exactly. No, here's my dog real quick. Theo, hold up. Say hi, Theo.
Oh,
Theo, over here.
Theo was a good boy.
Theo, good boy. Yeah, he's a good
boy.
boy. He was so upset during the game that he went with my wife upstairs to take a nap because she was also upset with the game. She's like just getting on her Vikings fandom this year. She actually knows Carson and his quarterback coach from her NDSU days. So like big fans. We were at the Bengals game and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm a Vikings fan this year. And then she left after that second pick. So what was that, second quarter? So I think we lost her. But maybe that's okay. Couple quick takes. Play calling. I know we've talked a lot about it, but I don't know. Phil, you said it. 2nd down and 1 at the 6. Why are we not running the ball 3 times there? Defensively, Brian Flores, why don't we have safety help at the end? Maybe there was, I just didn't see it, but it was not a good day for play calling. On the positive side, the positive Phil side, if you want to call it, we were terrible in the red zone and we almost won the game. We were down by 1 score at the end, and you know, if you convert 2 of those tries in the red zone, this game is over. Heck, if you convert all of those, it's a blowout. So I don't know, positive negatives there, but thank you guys. Love the show.
Yeah, no, some good points. I mean, yeah, people don't want to hear it, but there was actually a lot of really good, but the bad was so eye-poppingly bad that it overshadows everything, and that's why you lose the game.
But the good makes it worse. Like, if they had just played a crappy game, like the Falcons game, they just lost. They got their ass kicked, okay? Like, there was nothing from there where I'm like, well, if these 2 plays had been different, like, they just got dominated that game. What makes this frustrating is you blew an opportunity here in a season in which these wins are precious. So, like, I'm more frustrated by this than the Falcons game because of the fact that you were given opportunities. And again, I'll go back to it. The Eagles are flawed. They've got some really nice players. They're not a bad team, but they're a flawed team. They came into your building and basically said, okay, you know what? Take the game. And the Vikings are like, no, you take the game. And ultimately, the Vikings prevailed.
Vikings, by the way, as we sit here, and this will be the case the entire week, are in last place in the NFC North.
Don't let the Bears get hot.
At 3-3.
Got some softies coming up here.
The Bears have a weak spot on their schedule. They beat the Saints at home today to get to 4-2. The Lions are 4-2. And the Packers are 3-1-1. So even if the Packers lose, they will be a half game ahead of the Vikings because of that tie. So no matter what, the Vikings for another week are going to sit in last place in the NFC North.
Plus, even if a miraculous playoff run happens, now 2 head-to-head losses to Eagles and Falcons will definitely even I think the Eagles will win the NFC East, but certainly not a given. But two conference losses too will make things very difficult if you are in the playoff picture by 2 months from now at the end of the season.
Yeah, let's go back to the vent lines here, Dex.
Yeah, Dylan. What's going on, man? You're on.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Dylan. What's up, man?
Awesome. Well, I kind of have a couple things today. For one, I feel like we kind of got hit with some typical Viking stuff that I don't think we talk about a lot, where it's like whatever a team seems to do the worst at coming up to the game, they'll talk about all week long. Oh, the Eagles' pass game's in ruins. The receivers hate Jalen Hurts. Oh, you know what will fix that? Play the Vikings, where you can both receive. We can put up 300 yards of offense, throw no incomplete passes. Everyone eats. Everyone loves each other.
See, Dylan, what's funny is you're 100% right. But if you would have told me, hey, the Eagles are gonna win this game and their offense is gonna go off, I would have said, for all the reasons you just mentioned, oh, this is gonna be the week that their running game gets going and Saquon has a $160 and 3 touchdowns. But it was the passing game. Yeah.
And I also, what I didn't like was the offense. I put this loss in the offense. I'm kind of more okay with what happened on defense. I feel like the defense gave us every opportunity to kind of take a chokehold of this thing and start really frustrating the Eagles. But when you don't take advantage of anything defense gives you, they start feeling themselves and getting going. But anyway, I think KOC put us in a couple positions to make some plays. But as we talked about with Kirk was, like we don't hate him for the performance, but the money we're paying him for the performances we're getting. Sometimes with Justin Jefferson, and hear me out. Hear me out. Like Justin, I love him. Obviously, I'd fight it for him to be the number one receiver over anybody. But Jamar Chase catches that touchdown, and we're not having this conversation. The team is struggling. You need to rely on somebody. Carson Wentz throws the only good pass he throws all day to you over Cooper DeJean, who, I'm sorry, shouldn't be able to hang with you. You got to catch the ball, Justin Jefferson. We need you to catch the ball in that situation to get us going. I love him, but it happens a lot. Let me look at J.J. McCarthy's last game against the Falcons. There was a couple passes in there where JJ's trying to get going and hits Justin in the chest, bounces off. Now it's 3rd and long. We get sacked, and everything kind of falls apart. Sometimes we need him to be a catalyst and not just get going when everything is going. So I'll let you guys get back to it, but that's kind of my thought.
Wow, Dylan.
Yeah. Okay. Let's examine that just for a second. But if you're going to do a pie chart of assessment of blame, which I am for tomorrow, yes, that ball, it would have been nice if it had been caught. And you can certainly make a good case it should have been. Okay, nice play by DeJean, but yes, he's Justin Jefferson. He can catch that ball. So I understand what he's saying. But if you're going to go through what went wrong, like I cannot just allow the defense to just have a pass. Well, they put the offense in a good position at times. I can't do that. So, yes, Jefferson, I'd like to see him catch that pass. But there are so many other things that should have happened to win that game that this is not even close to being. I mean, just for reference sake, Justin Jefferson will not be on my list tomorrow when I do the pie chart of blame.
Dylan, did Dylan just burp? That was a great one. But
oh shoot! I
popped Dylan back in so that we could award him, if he's interested, the Crybaby Craig's Vent of the Week.
Yeah.
Because you know what? In a game like that, there's not many untouchables for a pie chart of blame, and not many people are willing to go where you went and criticize Justin Jefferson. But it's a worthwhile talker, so Dex will explain. You are the Crybaby Craig's Venter of the Week here on Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, Dylan, with the belch, send me back an email with just your information, your name, your address, your hoodie size, to get a Crybaby Craig's prize pack from our friends here, which will give you a boatload of Crybaby Craig's, plus all of Vent Line listeners too. PD10 when you go to crybabycraigs.com, PD10 to get a discount on the Crybaby Craig's. I put the stuff on everything. You can find it at your local grocery store. But we're going to hook up Dylan with our guy here with a bunch of Crybaby Craig's here, which is awesome. And send us all your hot sauce too. It's my big part of my day each day, putting Crybaby Craig's on everything. So go to crybabycraigs.com or find them in your local grocery store.
Yeah, we made some little homemade wings here today. We got the Crybaby Craig's on the counter right outside my little studio here. I have a Jefferson take too, but MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. There's a crisp in the air, and if your HVAC system isn't ready, you might want to call these guys.
I've got an ironclad great take here, so hear me out. And that is this month, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air is here to ensure that your home stays warm and comfortable all season long. Trust the experts in plumbing, heating, and air. MSP, by the way, is your local carrier dealer. They're delivering quality and reliability. October is the perfect time to get your HVAC system checked before the cold hits. Why? Because if the cold hits and something goes wrong, it's going to cost you a lot. This is simply an inspection to make sure that your HVAC is going as well as it can be. And when you choose Carrier, you're investing in a system that keeps your home comfortable and saves you money on energy bills. So check out our website. That's calmsp.com, or give us a call 651-615-4292 to learn more about MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air services and Carrier products.
Also, Black Stack in St. Paul. A couple things. For one, world-renowned craft beer. Black Stack is not only one of the big ones here locally, but they are recognized worldwide for how great their beer is on a regular basis. And their tap room is one of the largest tap rooms in the state of Minnesota. It's a former Spam Can factory. We actually had a Purple Daily Unplugged event there a few months back, and it was a blast. There's room for you to bring, big group events for sure, but even just groups of friends to watch sports on the 190-inch big screen TV or play one of hundreds of board games they have there. There's also non-alcoholic beers, hard seltzer cocktails, boozy slushies, and root beer that they brew themselves if you're interested in those things. The new beer this week is Microdose Nelson Single Hazy IPA. So check that out and stop into one of the coolest tap rooms in the Twin Cities in the state of Minnesota, Black Stack Brewing. If there is a knock on Justin Jefferson, if there is a knock, it's that he's not a force in the red zone. He's not the touchdown machine that some of his contemporaries have been at times. Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, I'll still take Justin Jefferson, just all-encompassing, as the best receiver in the NFL the last few years. But if you notice that play, they saw Cooper sitting out there on the edge one-on-one. And Carson Wentz literally said, hey, and maybe it was KO in his headset. He moved Jefferson to the left side of the line of scrimmage, to the left side of the formation, so that he could have that one-on-one matchup against the second-year cornerback. And he didn't look anywhere else. He threw it right over there. Jefferson gets two hands on it. And good job by Cooper for knocking that ball away, kind of, or pulling his wrist off. But I don't know if it makes the pie chart a blame. But, if he catches that, okay, maybe some things play out differently in that game. It is a fair micro criticism. I will give Dylan that.
Yeah, I don't see it being in a pie chart of blame that's going to have a huge part of the roster already. I don't know if that one makes it. But yeah, well, and also I don't know, when you stall in the red zone as much as they have as well, there's just an overall frustration from my end about what you're doing there. To your point, the Jordan Mason play, where he didn't score, but on the fourth and one, was it? And they decide to pass the ball instead of give him the ball. To me, this is partially on players for sure, but it's also play calling, and it's also who you have to run plays as well. I mean, Jordan Mason was signed in part to get that first down. So what are we doing here? But yes, Jefferson should have had. It would have been nice to see him catch that ball for sure, and he did have it for a split second. So.
All right, if you're just joining us here, welcome in. There's still 5,000 people hanging out for this therapy session. Vikings lose 28-22. We are monitoring some of the post-game press conference and locker room stuff, so we'll update you on that. Judd, the sports dad, is at the stadium right now. Dex and I holding it down in our studios. Click that subscribe button and the like button if you haven't already, too. Welcome to Purple Daily. Dex, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Jacob next year. Hey, Jacob, you're on Vikings Vent Line.
What's up, guys? How's it going? You got me?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I thought watching the game, there was a number of different times that I thought the Vikings not could take control of the game, but they had opportunities to, sort of take control. But there's number 3rd and 13 I can think of, 3rd and 16. I mean, we had opportunities to go win the football game, and just couldn't. Defense didn't show up when we needed them there, and but another talking point that I think, it continues to be one, but the red zone offense. 2nd and 1, and we decide we have Jordan Mason, who is a known power back, and we decide, let's run the ball 3 times or pass the ball 3 times in a row. It's just, I think it just I love Kevin O'Connell. I think he's a great coach, but the red zone offense needs to improve somehow. I think it needs to continue to be a talking point.
Yeah, no, Jacob. I think one of the issues on at least one of those. So the sequence where they're at the 6-yard line, it's 2nd and 1. So that's where you've got the defense by the grapefruits, because they're defending against not only the 6 yards for a touchdown, but they're also defending against the 1 yard for the first down. And so I believe on the 3rd and 1 play, Wentz checked out of a run into a pass. And it was noted on the broadcast, too, by Greg Olson, who was awesome today. And he eviscerated Carson Wentz on 3 different occasions. But I almost feel like in some instances, if you're Kevin O'Connell, you have to call a run and tell Carson Wentz, don't check to the pass. Because a lot of these plays have, you call a run, but there's hey, if the defense gives you this, then you check out of it to a passing play. When it's 1 yard to go at the 6-yard line and you have Jordan Mason, don't check to a pass. Just run the ball. Get the first down, lean forward. He's going to break a tackle, and then you can whatever. If you want to throw the ball, now it's 1st and goal from the 4-yard line or something. You want to throw the ball? Okay, throw the ball. But to just, and I'm nitpicking one particular drive in a sea of things that went wrong for the Vikings today. But I just, you had to convert one of those 4 red zone field goals into a touchdown. And Kevin does the same thing as a play caller as he did in that, was it the Lions game, where Sam Darnold was not, his accuracy was shot. He was seeing ghosts. And, you didn't have Jordan Mason at the time, so it's a little more understandable why you would get pass happy. But you did a bunch of things in March and April specifically to run the ball in those situations. And you don't, and you settle for field goals instead. What are we doing?
Well, this goes back to, and I bitched about this at the time, when Josh Dobbs was here. The longer Dobbs was here, the more Kevin thinks he can run my offense. And it's like, no, he still can't run your offense. Dude, what you did against the Falcons was great because you basically played schoolyard football. But it bothers him. And so he is literally like Carson Wentz. And here's the other thing. Depending on what the Carson Wentz timeline was, and if he was here, it sounds like he came in for a visit in March. Mm-hmm. If there was any agreement that Carson Wentz could skip training camp, shame on everybody. Brett Favre can skip your camp. If you to not have Carson Wentz as your in training, and I don't care. The whole thing is, well, he would have outperformed McCarthy, and everyone would have seen it. Well, first of all, he would have been getting second team reps. But second of all, he needed a full. He's not good enough to skip a training camp. He's not good enough to parachute in. He needs to have you vet him completely.
Yeah.
And so if the case was that Sam Howell was basically just a placeholder for Carson Wentz until Wentz was signed, the Vikings really screwed up there.
Yeah. I will say, like, the long-term good news here, the silver lining here is, if they would have won that game today and Wentz brings them back from down double digits, even with the mistakes, you're like, man, now they're 4-2, and look at the grittiness that Wentz showed at the end of the game, and now it's a short week, and then the possibility is alive that now you win again and you're 5-2. And this team is rolling, and now it becomes a real discussion point when McCarthy is 100% healthy. The silver lining long-term is all of that is gone now. All of it is gone. If McCarthy can play on Thursday, I think they're going to wait another week and give him the 10 days of preparation against the Lions. But no longer is it, the team is riding hot, and Wentz might make a mistake or two here and there, but he can still throw for 300 yards and chunk the ball to Addison and get the ball out and all these things. Like, that is gone now. And the only focus, like, to me, the focus is McCarthy above team, even in some cases, because you're kind of sitting here and your schedule's impossible on paper. You're last in your division right now. There's no thought that you are like a Super Bowl contender at this point in the season. And so JJ McCarthy becomes the number one priority as soon as you want him to be, either Thursday or the Sunday game, first Sunday in November, right?
I would think so. But, and like, look, the Carson Wentz thing is, unless he had balled out, right, which he clearly didn't do, the Carson Wentz thing is temporary. We know that. That's what he is. He's a temporary guy there. They clearly don't feel comfortable enough to switch to Brosmer, because if they had a backup that they liked, they could have switched today. So, yeah, they need to go to McCarthy, but that's a whole different episode and story, too, on are they comfortable yet there? And, like, what's going on here exactly? Like, do I think it's a soft benching? No, but he was the third quarterback today. He could have played. So
if he was the second quarterback, to your point,
then it's a benching.
Though, that's an actual soft
That's
benching.
an actual benching. But my point is, I think we also need to, once we sort through the muck that is what has happened with Carson Wentz, then we need to sort through what's going on with McCarthy and where their confidence is to put him back in a game. And if he's healthy, it's not good. I'm not going to lie. It's a mess. Right now, it's a mess.
Dax, who's next?
All right, so this guy flew in all the way from Alaska to go to the Vikings game, and now he has walked all the way to Target Field, he said, to see another disappointment.
Yeah.
Tyler, what's going on?
How's it going, guys? Hey, so we flew in, Friday morning, got here and came. It's her first Vikings game, at least here at US Bank Stadium. Maybe I'm the reason why we've lost both games I've come to here at US Bank. We've lost close ones. Chargers a couple years ago, this game this year. But, man, it still was a great atmosphere today in the stadium. I mean, I never felt fully out of it, just never being able to get the touchdowns while we moved down the field decently. But, man, it just kicking field goals, heartbreaking. but at least we did kick field goals. Unlike years past all that on that, she's like, wait, did he make it? I was like, welcome to being a Vikings fan. So
Isn't that the crazy thing is like now that the Vikings have an aces kicker for the first time in a long time, all these other things are breaking around and they can't get the quarterback right again.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great, but appreciate you guys jumping me on. I was like, she told me to just do it. We're here. So yeah.
Thank you.
School from Alaska, Minneapolis right now though.
Love it, you guys. All right, have fun at Target Field. Not a lot of
Yeah.
running
Yeah,
happening there either.
One
so-
quick thing. Why do they still have Correa banners up here? Like,
Yeah.
I was walking by, I was like, really? Like, come on.
But those
you
have
know
just
what
been up for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what it costs to take those down?
That's true.
Do you know the price of taking banners
I
down?
mean, we know the pullouts aren't going to spend anything, so
What a poverty franchise.
Thanks,
Keep the Correa banners up outside the stadium. Okay, guys.
Do you know what this is? Today, I just realized it. It was very 2007 or 8 Childress. Longwell can move between the 20s, right? Can move between the 20s. Then
Can't
you get
score,
inside,
yeah.
and then Longwell comes in, and he's really good, and he gets you the points, but you never got the points that you were supposed to get. 2007.
A lot of field goals in 2007. All right, Dex, back to the vent lines here. Therapy in session.
Yeah, let's go to Ryan in Colorado. Hi, Ryan. You're on Vikings Vent
Hey,
Line.
fellas, how you doing today? Can you hear me?
We got you, Ryan. Yeah, man.
Heck yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Pretty cool to be on, but most everything's gone covered. The 2nd and 1, outrageous. Indictment on KOC. Does he need an OC? I don't know, but sad as it is to say, with all the money we spent in off-season, we're too expensive of a roster to finish 500. Does that make us bigger traders at deadline?
Okay. I would say, Ryan, their roster is no more expensive than, I mean, the NFL, the rosters are similarly expensive, right? And there might be more cash up front for some rosters, but in terms of like the expectation before the season, yeah, I think finishing 500 would be way below everyone's expectations. Judd, do you think trade deadline's in what? I don't know, 3 weeks or something? 4
November
weeks?
4th. After
3
the Lions
weeks?
game. After the Lions game.
If you had to make a trade deadline decision right now, is there anything you would aim to do?
Either way, like as far as trading away guys, I don't think I would get enough for a guy like you can shop TJ Hawkinson, but with that contract, I don't think you're going to get a thing back for him. I mean, if I was serious about trying to win, I would look for another cornerback. After today, like there's just, I understand what Flores is doing, and I get that he's done some brilliant stuff before, but I don't think that you can do this. Like, you are making yourself so susceptible to the pass game. As far as offensively, I would still like to see them go get a guy who has played center. I mean, poor Blake Brandel, that snap today, it's still going up. I think it hit the ceiling.
That was rough.
The hold was a rough call against him. I'm going to side with him a little bit on that. That was a rough call. I don't know that I liked that call, and that, I believe, took away the Jalen Naylor touchdown. But I would like to get a center who I feel comfortable with. I just don't feel comfortable, and the problem is Juergens same way, so it's not like put Juergens back in. I don't really feel comfortable, and I don't think Ryan Kelly's coming back.
I don't know if Phil, Boone, and Searles, which I'm guessing they probably will break that down, but Olsen, right, said on the broadcast that you basically you can't bring him down to the ground with the shoulders, right? Is that what I think Greg Olsen was saying on the Brandel
Like he kind
penalty?
of by the way, Kevin O'Connell said that seemed to be a pretty routine kind of play, and he would like some clarification on that holding penalty. I'd have to look at it again, but it looked like the defensive tackle was kind of leaning forward, and Brandel kind of pulled him down from underneath. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and then I think Olsen was saying that, and that's correct. You can't do that. So I'm not sure if it's still ticky tack. I agree with Judd. I think to me it looks like a football play. Like I don't think it looks illegal, but they deemed it was.
That's the thing. Like there's a lot of things. I was arguing with some people about the 3-man rush on one of the big. It was was it the third down hitter, or maybe it was the AJ Brown touchdown. And Dallas Turner is just getting swallowed up by Lane Johnson on that play. And at the very end of the play, so Lane Johnson wins that rep. You try to bull rush Lane Johnson, he just swallows you up. And And at the very end of the rep, Dallas Turner kind of gets around the outside, and for a brief split second, he got outside the framework of the interaction there, and Lane Johnson's got a little tug of the jersey, but there's certain things like that you watch as a fan or a media member, like, that's holding. He's holding him, or he pulled him down. But those are almost never called because it's so subtle and it's so you're allowed to kind of grab some jersey within the fight, like in the box that you are blocking in, and if the defender gets outside of that. So if a defender's leaning into you and you're kind of into his shoulder pads and you pull him down a little bit, that rarely gets called in the NFL. By the letter of the law, is it holding? Probably, but it's the old cliche that's true. If you examined every interaction for every single play across the entire offensive line, you would just be calling holding penalty. You'd call 50 holding penalties or more over the course of a game. So I do agree with the spirit of what Greg Olsen said, which is, and Kevin O'Connell, kind of felt like a standard football play it's like when you're going 58 miles an hour in a 55 and you get singled out. It's like, well, really?
Well, Judd's in the left lane blocking you, that's the
true,
whole
yeah.
No, the problem is I'm trying to get by these morons who are blocking me as I'm trying to zip by going 80 miles an hour. I mean, I basically use 494 as the Autobahn.
Okay,
that's how I see it.
Let's see that. Now you're holding, Judd. Now you're going 80 miles an hour. That's a
I use the Autobahn. I am going to get home.
Who's next here? Vikings lose 28-22 to the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, let's go to is it Splash Ketchum?
Yes, sir.
What's up,
Hey,
man?
How you guys doing? You hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we got you, man.
Okay. Well, my main premise is I want to talk about KOC a little bit, but just kind of maybe 3 players to kind of think about too. Carson Wentz is definitely not it. I don't know why that was even a discussion and becoming a thing this year with J.J. McCarthy. Jonathan Grenard has to lead the league in almost sacks because he always gets there. And it just seems like he doesn't take anybody down, and it's frustrating because they could be game-changing plays. But and the third player is Harrison Smith. It doesn't seem like we've heard too much or even seen a lot from him this year. He's not having an impact on the team that we're kind of used to seeing from him. So that's just kind of strange, but just something maybe you guys want to talk about another time. But my main thing is KOC. I'm just starting to notice a trend with him. And you guys spoke about it a little bit with the 2nd and 1 and you're throwing the ball, which I don't mind that fade to JJ. That's cool. But it's like it's 3rd and 1, just run the ball. Jordan Mason has shown you that he can just run straight. That seems to be the only thing he really does. Doesn't have the best vision. It's kind of just a power back. Makes me miss Aaron Jones a little bit in that sense. But KOC, it just seems like he does a lot of questionable things with his play calling at times. Like he just kind of overcomplicates things, but also just doesn't seem to put his guys in the best position to kind of, exceed. Like you have Carson Wentz, he's kind of flustered back there and kind of freaking out and run the ball a little bit. Like you're down, I know you're down 11, but he just stops running the ball. Like it's almost like he just gets away from it once he gets behind a certain point. But you guys, I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Like, there's a lot more I could talk about with KOC, but just those are things I noticed today specifically that he's always done.
Splash. Thanks for coming on, Judd.
Thanks, Splash. I think Kevin has an expectation that his quarterback has had enough time with the red pen on the Saturday and in the week going up to a game to execute what he wants. And unfortunately with Wentz, it's just very clear he can't. Like I liken Wentz as a full-time version of Darnold in the Detroit game, which is at some point in time when a guy starts to freak out, you got to help him out. Like just because it worked previously or just because you thought, this should work. Like you can see the design of the plays that should work, but guess what? It doesn't matter. So, Darnold that last game in Detroit, I think, and I saw a comment here that Darnold was lights out in the red zone. You know where he wasn't? When you needed the game in Detroit. So, and Carson Wentz is not the quarterback that Darnold is, unfortunately. And so we're just sort of seeing this on a full-time basis, especially, and it's a hard thing to do, but it happens all the time, especially in this league. You're playing from behind, right? You're playing from behind, so you have to catch up, but you have to have some patience. But the problem, too, is was it the Vikings penultimate drive when they ran like a 16-play drive with the clock ticking? Like they were literally killing the clock on themselves. It's like, this is not what we want. And there was the Hawkinson catch, which was ruled not a touchdown. And then it went back to some folks going by with walkie-talkies. And then there's the Hawkinson catch with 2:58 left or something, right? And it's like, okay, are you going to now kick a field goal? Because you're going to have the field goal eventually. And they just continue to run the clock out. So nobody said it's easy, but I will say that it's frustrating at times to watch it because with Wentz, it's like some of the stuff is just, it very clearly is not going to work.
I think there's Carson Wentz is one of those quarterbacks that, yes, he can give you some of the big chunk upside plays. He's not just a guy that's going to be training wheels. I mean, he's been around long enough. There's a reason why he was a high first-round draft pick. He's going to look like that for portions of a game. He's also proven to be a guy in his career that if my math is right, they had 48 called pass plays in this game, the Vikings, and 19 called running plays. If you're going to give a guy like Carson Wentz 48 chances to drop back and throw the ball,
you're going to lose.
At least 5 or 6 of those are going to be blue screen of death. There's going to be 2 chances for a pick 6. There's going to be a couple terrible sacks. There's going to be an intentional grounding where he's going to try and be a hero on a play. So I get that Kevin O'Connell would come back and say, well, we were trailing the entire game and the flow of the game dictated that we had to throw the ball. And I think he falls into that trap. Listen, I'm obviously the biggest Kevin O'Connell defender probably on the show here, but my biggest criticism of him is the first chance that he can bail on the run game, he does. We're down by 9. Oh, damn. We were hoping to run the ball down their throats a little bit. It's actually one of the 10 worst rushing defenses in the league this year, Philadelphia. But, we're losing in the second quarter, so therefore we're going to abandon the run. Or if they are running the ball and it's not resulting in big chunks on a regular basis. Like today, I think if you take away the Carson Wentz scrambles, they were 2.5, 3 yards a carry over the 15 or 19 carries that they had. But I still think it's impactful. It's still sending a message. It is still serving a purpose, and it's opening up for maybe something bigger down the field at some point. And guess what? It eliminates the chance of your quarterback throwing a dumb interception or throwing a ball backwards for 10 yards and setting you up in a 2nd and 25. So again, before the game started, if you were to sit down with Kevin O'Connell and say, hey, if you call 48 passes for Carson Wentz, do you think the outcome is going to be good at the end of that game? I would hope he would agree with no being the answer, but there's half a chance he might say, well, if he runs those plays the way I want him to, yeah, but dude, you're not dealing with top 7, top 8 quarterbacks in the league here. You're not, this isn't Patrick Mahomes. It's not even a Jared Goff. That is too many called passes in a close game to avoid catastrophic error by this quarterback.
And the funniest thing is the actual predictor, if you just saw the stats without the score, the actual predictor of this loss based on our preseason conversations would have been, if I had given you the final stats and said, did they win or lose, you would have said that defense was awful.
And it turned out to be awful, right? The passing defense, that's one of the worst.
But what I'm saying is, based on our preseason conversations, we were basically with McCarthy saying you need to be good enough to get some points, but this defense has to be lights out. And in the second half, they just folded. So, again, that's why everyone gets blamed for this. Everyone gets blamed because your defense, you could have snuck out one of the uglier victories in the O'Connell era if your defense hadn't just completely crapped the bed in the second half.
All right, back to the vent lines here, Dex. Who do we got next?
Yeah, let's go to Scott next year. Hey, Scott, you're on.
What's up, boys?
Hey,
you
Scott.
got me?
Yeah, man.
So I'll go through some of my points I had written down, but you hit on a lot of them. Those, like you said, the 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1. Why are you not running the ball? The 2nd and 1, okay, I get. Throw it up to JJ, let him try to make a play. I watched the Bengals-Steelers game on Thursday. Jets and Chase are 2 entirely different receivers. Chase is bigger. He's stronger. Justin gets out-muscled a lot of the time, especially on those 50. He's not a throw it up in the corner to him guy. He needs to be in space and make plays after. But what was the next point? The backup quarterback, like Judd said, if that truly was like, oh, Carson, we got your number in case we need you. If Sam Howell sucks, which I don't know why you wouldn't think Sam Howell sucks. Sorry, guys, I'm fired up today. I've been pissed off
it's great.
all week. The McCarthy thing is infuriating me. Get his ass, if I can say that, out on the field and play him. I don't care if he's not 100%. You guys know I'm from Chicago. This gives me Derrick Rose flashbacks of I just don't trust my body. I'm not 100%. I can't get out there. The doctors have cleared me, but I can't get out there. You need to play. You're a football player. You think the other 53 guys on the roster have injuries that they're fighting through? They're out there.
I feel like you're, just to stop you for a second, I feel like you're ranting at McCarthy. I think if it was McCarthy's decision, he would have played 2 weeks ago.
No, I'm not. It feels like that type of scenario to me of like, he has to be 100%. If he's 99%, he can't be out there. Like I heard JJ say, I want to play. Then you got to get him out there. Carson Wentz blows. I'm sorry. I've watched that guy for 3 hours today infuriate me. His accuracy. The pass to Hawkinson, TJ was wide open, and he has to try to make a diving stab at it. The one to Addison, like you guys were talking about, he could have walked in, and the pass is 5 yards behind him. It's infuriating. And then the next guy that I want to get on, Dallas Turner is terrible. You did not trade second and third round picks for a guy to set the edge well and get some pressures. Did anybody watch the Jacksonville Rams game this morning? Verse is a monster. He's always at the quarterback, and he always takes him down. Like you said, Phil, that play with Lane Johnson looked like a 15-year-old doing an 8-year-old saying, try to get there. Nope, can't do it. Nope.
Yeah. And of course, and Scott, thank you. I love Scott bringing the passion here.
That's great.
Of course, I mean, Lane Johnson's like a Hall of Fame right tackle. Okay. And Dallas Turner did get around for kind of a second wave sack in the game, and that was great. But you didn't draft him to be just kind of like a pretty good edge setting edge rusher who can maybe be pretty good in the run. Like you drafted him in part to wreak havoc on opposing quarterbacks, and he hasn't done that yet. It's a fair thing to point out. Doesn't mean that his career is destined to officially be a bust, but yeah, it's a thing at this point, a year and a half in.
It's fair to ask for more. I think that's I think that's a fair assessment, and I know a lot of you are going to get very mad. You're going to send me tweets. You're going to get very angry, but I think it's fair to ask for more.
It is.
I mean, I don't think that is overstepping the boundaries of ball knower guy.
I don't know, man. Twitter was raging. I even saw other quote. I even saw other quote tweets of people like absolutely. And by the way, I don't agree. I agree with. I stand with us on this. On our takes on this. You don't make that trade. And also, when Van Ginkel is out, which he's been out, there's now an opportunity for him to feast, and he is not necessarily feasting. He's nibbling. He is dipping at the appetizers.
Yeah.
Go get the platter. Go get the food, man.
He's at the party.
He's not terrible. But when Jared Verse is doing exactly what Scott said, every time you flip on the Rams, it's like, oh my God, Jared Verse is making a quarterback urinate himself. You know, you're going to be compared to where you were drafted. And you're not a 4th round pick. You're a 1st round pick that a team traded up for a few times. So it's a conversation. It's a conversation.
But by the way, on the defensive side of the ball, we probably should mention that Ivan Pace has now been supplanted by Eric Wilson, who was starting for Blake Cashman. Blake Cashman came back, and Ivan Pace was the odd man out for the first time, I think, in a long time.
Yeah, he was. So I think this is the first time since he made the team as an undrafted free agent 3 years ago that he was just exclusively a special teams player. Yeah. So, Cashman came back and like, okay, is Eric Wilson going to go back to being, Eric Wilson and Blake Cashman got all the run, and Ivan Pace, from what I can see here, 17 players logged at least one defensive snap in this one, including Elijah Williams, Tyler Batty, they had him sideways on the tush-push defense.
That was hilarious.
And Bo Richter got a couple snaps in there, but I don't believe Ivan Pace logged a non-special team snap today. which is a big personnel change on that defense. Before we get to a couple things Kevin O'Connell is saying at the podium and more Vikings fans here on Purple Daily Vikings Vent Line, SeatGeek. If you're interested in tickets to an upcoming Vikings game or other sporting events, SeatGeek is a great place to start, Dex.
Yeah, SeatGeek is a great place to start. If you're looking to get in at one of the best NFL stadiums, obviously, if you're Trav, you want to follow the Vikings, you can do that. Go to SeatGeek, 10% off any tickets with promo code Purple10. It's on the App Store. It's on the Google Play Store. So if you're looking for a Vikings game, if you're looking for just a concert, heck, there's some great shows coming to the Twin Cities this next week or two. So go to SeatGeek, use promo code Purple10 for 10% off any tickets from our friends at SeatGeek.
North American Banking Company is here to provide a better banking experience for the Purple Daily audience. Founded in 1998, a Minnesota-based bank now with 6 locations across the Twin Cities. And in a world where it feels like things are getting less personal and more automated, your banking experience doesn't have to feel that way. If you'd like a banking company that's local, that specializes in personal relationships and cutting-edge online tools to highlight the safety and security of your accounts, let me recommend North American Banking Company. They'll make it really easy to make the transition, and it could be a game-changing experience for you and your family. So go to nabankco.com/Mackie to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackie. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And both Dex and I in the last 6 months or so have used 2 Men in a Truck to great delight, Dex, a great moving company.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about hiring your friends or figuring out when I can move in or who can help me move in, move out. It's a very stressful time to move. I've done it a lot now. Hopefully, I'm cemented in my house here for the time being. But when you're moving, it's stressful, and let the experts handle it at 2 Men in a Truck. They have all sorts of different size trucks. They will make sure that move can happen for you. They'll send you over a spreadsheet, what needs to be moved, what needs to get out of that house safely and appropriately. What they quote to is what you pay. There's none of those weird hidden service fees in the back end there. So go to 2meninatruck.com. Tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
Okay, Kevin O'Connell was asked by Kevin Seifert from ESPN.com. I think Kevin asked this question. It's Kevin's tweet, but asked how he will weigh the quarterback position on a short week. Kevin O'Connell says he wants to see how Carson Wentz comes out of this game. I think health-wise, he was wincing at the shoulder throughout the game. Took a lot of hits.
That the second to last run by Wentz, he got smoked, I think, on the shoulder that's already hurt.
Is bad.
He got him.
Yeah.
He was like, all right.
Wentz took a lot of hits today, especially in the fourth quarter. No hints of a quarterback change yet. Just Kevin O'Connell was not ready to confirm anything. So the Vikings are going to obviously a short practice week, and then they travel. So they miss out. If there's like walkthrough time that you would probably get a little extra as a home team, you're traveling on Wednesday for this game. So, all right, back to the vent lines here, Dex. Who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Devin next here. Hey, Devin, what's up, man? You are on Vikings Vent Line. We're switching from headphones over to the earbuds.
Oh, we're going earbuds here.
Earbuds? Okay. That's all good.
Things are getting serious.
All right. All right, guys. Can you hear me? You got me?
Yeah.
You good? Yeah.
All right. Here we go. I have receipts, I have stats, and I have a few points, all right?
Let's do it.
So I am tired of the Dallas Turner slander. I'm tired of the J.J. McCarthy slander. I am tired of the J.J. McCarthy versus Carson Wentz thing. J.J. McCarthy is miles better than Carson Wentz is. And Dallas Turner is also not doing bad. According to Pro Football Focus, he is top 50 in the league right now for pressures. And how many times does Jared Verse drop back into coverage during games? Not very often. He strictly rushes the passer most of the time.
Correct.
Right. Dallas Turner drops back into coverage a lot of the time. He basically has been playing that Andrew Van Ginkel role since he has been out. He drops back into coverage. He does a bunch of things for our defense that go unnoticed. People are looking at strictly statistics based on sacks. That is all what people are looking at. Does he need to get more sacks? Yeah, absolutely. That is one of his jobs. But he has been doing great in pass coverage and doing other things. Another thing, Dallas Turner and J.J. McCarthy are two of the youngest players in that draft class. You look at Drake May, 23 years old, Jaden Daniels, 24, Caleb Williams, 23, Michael Penix, 25, and Bo Nix is also 25. J.J. McCarthy is 22 years old. J.J. McCarthy is a year younger than I am. Dallas Turner is a year younger than I am as well. I'm 23. Can we give these guys some time?
But
develop and actually
Jade-
get older.
But the problem is this: like this show by no means has called JJ a bust. He's played 2 games. Yeah, it's not been great. He hasn't gotten on the field though. That's the key talking point. I don't care if he's 12.
I'd love to give him time. I want to see him play.
If you drafted him as a prepubescent because he was so good and he can't play, he's useless to me. So he rightfully, there is a major concern. Forget the game. There is a major concern about can you stay healthy to play. Like that's a non-debatable topic. So like this is not he sucks, he's no good. Yeah, it's been tough. It's been 2 games. We've hammered that home. And if you are calling him a bust now because of that, look, then you would have given up on a lot of quarterbacks in the history of this league who turned out to be successful. But I don't care if he's 52, 22, or 11 years old. He has to be able to play, and so far he can't. Like that's not a debatable topic.
I agree, and I was more so talking about the fans. I know you guys have been very fair to Dallas Turner and JJ McCarthy, and so is like Thor, like all those guys. I'm more so talking about fans that I've heard come on Vent Line and come on, just on Twitter and stuff, not more so. And my other point: can we fire Matt Daniels? Matt Daniels is one of the worst special teams coordinators of all time. The past 2 seasons, the Vikings have been 31st in kick return average. 32nd in punt return average, 26th in net punt yards per punt. We have an 83 field goal percentage. That's more so based on kickers, but Will Reichard's fine, DePaul is fine, and Brian Wright's fine. Those 3 guys are fine. We are the 6th most penalized special teams unit, and we are the 10th most penalty yards against us. We're the 10th ranked team. Matt Daniels is an awful special teams coordinator. I will stand on that hill and I will die on that hill. And yeah, that man should not be employed by the Minnesota Vikings from here on out.
Devin bringing the heat here. Appreciate you coming on with the stats and the facts. Didn't we go over there was some metric like special teams expected points added above below average, and a lot of the Vikings were not very good, but like all that entire tree, it's like Shanahan, McVay, it's a bunch of guys from that tree that are just bad special teams. Mm-hmm. They only focus on their elaborate offensive schemes, apparently.
I don't disagree with his take, but I will say this, and this is not to Daniel's credit, but the fact that you have found a kicker who seems to be, unless he's hurt, able to make kicks, buys the Vikings, not Daniels, a lot of grace, because you do have a guy. I mean, Blake Brandel snapped the ball to the moon today, and they still attempted a field goal, and they made the field goal.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's frustrating things about special teams, but I think that you have solved problems, and as long as you don't fumble punts as well, that's a good start for me. But yes, it could be better. There's no question about it. That I don't disagree on. And quite frankly, I'm tired of Dallas Turner. I'm tired. Like we've talked about it. I'm done. Look, until
You're
it comes
tired of
around,
him or the discussion
no,
about him?
No. I'm tired of talking about. I feel like we are litigating the man's career as if he is some huge bust. And they traded up to get him, and they gave up a lot. And I think there's an expectation there. And it's sort of this weird D'Angelo Russell like cult of people who are like, you don't understand. It's like, yeah, I do. It's Dallas Turner. And let's not compare a 22-year-old quarterback, okay? A quarterback to an edge rusher. Like an edge rusher at 22, you can step in and you can do it right away. No problem.
That is true, yes.
I have a hard time with the NFL age thing because, like, in baseball, when you draft a prep kid out of high school, and now, like, kids are getting accelerated and they're getting the show quicker, but, like, it's different when you draft a fresh 18-year-old versus a 22-year-old who had played 4 years of college baseball, where, like, the age development thing does kind of work for you of, hey, be patient with this. If you're a top 10 pick in the NFL draft and you're 25 or, what was wasn't Brandon Whedon like 28 years old when he got drafted by the Browns? Like, I don't really care what age you are when you're drafted that high in the NFL. The expectation is, unfortunately, you do kind of have to perform pretty dang quickly and also be available to play. So I don't think we can necessarily use the age thing of give him time because he's only 22 instead of 25 years old.
Yeah, they're different discussions altogether because McCarthy's played 2 games and Dallas Turner's played a year and a half. Limited last year because they weren't ready to trust him on that level, and they had Grenard and Van Ginkel. I do want to highlight something from that was brought up like a few minutes ago, that he's like top 50 in pressures or whatever. Let's put some context around that for a second. And I also I'm not writing off his career. I don't think he's been bad, but again, you compare an edge rusher. They can if you're 22 or 24, you step in, you can perform as an edge rusher. There's certain defensive positions or a left guard, like you can hit the ground running in the NFL. And so if we just isolate edge rushers in the NFL this year, which Dallas Turner is, he's an edge rusher that they do drop back into coverage about 20 to 25% of pass plays. So that's it. But if you go on a percentage basis, pass rush productivity or pass rush win rate per snap, right? There's 113 qualified edge rushers in the NFL this year. 113. Dallas Turner, 40th in pass rush productivity. So, up above league average, but up in the top 6 are 2 dudes from his draft class in the first round. Laiatu Latu and Jared Verse are both top 6, top 9 in the NFL in pass rush win rate and pass rush productivity. So it's fair to say that, like, of a couple other guys that are just instantly awesome as edge rushers, maybe they're a year or 2 older or whatever, the Vikings didn't draft him to be like pretty good dropping back into coverage and a guy who can set the edge a little bit. You can find they had guys like that on the roster last year, right? So at some point he needs to terrorize quarterbacks. It hasn't happened yet. I'm not saying it can't ever happen, but it's worth noting that it hasn't happened yet. It's been a year and a half and it hasn't happened yet. All right. Who do we got next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to our guy Corey from Iowa. What's up, Corey?
Hey guys, what's going on? How we doing
What's
today?
up, Corey? Hey, man.
All right. Just watched that pitiful game we just watched all together. Got a few points. It was bad all the way around. I'm gonna put a lot of this on. I'm not gonna even talk about Carson Wentz. We already know what he is. We already know what's going on there. We know the situation. I'm putting this more on coaching. Declan, we might have a coaching problem, and here's the reason why. You cannot be in the red zone this many times. And the same stuff you did last year in the Lions game, the same thing you did with the Rams, you go out, you get one of the better running backs in Jordan Mason for that reason. You get in the red zone this many times. And this is why I say we got a coaching problem, because we have 2 egotistical coaches are stubborn, will not change their ways, will not change mid-game. It is, we get to the red zone, let's throw it. Why are we throwing the ball? Jordan Mason got us all the way down the field, scored a touchdown, okay? Next series they get on offense. Why is Scott in the game? Put Jordan Mason back in the game. Why would you change it when he's running like that?
Didn't that come after also a lengthy timeout on the field because of an injury that Scott stayed in the game for a while? Yeah. And it's like, you just had a huge timeout. Like, you had plenty of time to rest him.
Yeah, rest him. Put him right back in the game. And I understand what they were trying to do. Okay, we're going to shut down Saquon, Jalen. You know what happens? And what the guy say earlier, talking, everybody makes these historical things happen when they play us. Jalen Hurts, on that last series, they're going to Brown. They know they're throwing the ball. It's 3rd and whatever it is. You're going. How does they get burned that bad? There was so many times Devontae Smith was wide open in the middle of the field. You have 4 people around him and no one. I mean, people are like 8-9 yards away from him. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. They will not change. They will not. They're stubborn in this, and it's going to be a problem down the road. And one other thing, with the whole J.J. McCarthy thing, I'm not buying the whole ankle thing anymore. We're way past too many weeks with this. This is what I'm thinking. He's not ready. He's not ready, and they're making excuse after excuse after excuse for this young man not to play. I understand he's 22, but when you're pick number 10, like you said before, Declan, you have to do something. I don't think they look at him as a long-term quarterback. They're looking at him when you're developing your footwork in week 6 because you missed a couple weeks. That's a problem. I don't care what you're doing. I don't think McCarthy really, or not McCarthy, KLC, if you look at it, really wanted McCarthy. I think he wanted Penix, and they got surprised when the Falcons moved up, picked him, and now they're stuck with McCarthy because they didn't want to go with Nix. You messed up, I think, with Kwesi because you had an opportunity to go ahead and keep Darnold. Understand Darnold had the 2 bad games, but we would not be in the position we're in right now with this because, yes, we were lacking on other positions we needed money for. Understandable. Really, to this point, them other picks we picked are not really doing nothing for us. Our center's out. We may not even play him again. So now in free agency, we got to try and get a center. Brando, he was decent, but he's not your long-term answer. I think really either you put McCarthy in on Thursday, you see what happens after this, and it is what it is. I know you're going to waste a year doing it, but you know what? This is it's very hard because you're not a team that's developing. You're a team that's ready to win now. That's what's making it so hard, is because you're a team that's ready to win right now, and you can't. It's like, oh, we can stick with Wentz, but oh, we got McCarthy and we got to play him, and when are we going to see him? But they keep making, well, we'll see if he's 100%. Nobody's 100% at this time. No one is 100%. No rookie, no veteran, nobody's 100%. And you're looking at all these other rookies and all these other young players around the league right now are flourishing. The game is slowing more down for them. Yet we got a quarterback that's only played 8 quarters. 1 quarter's been good and historically been terrible the other 7 games. And we're going to say, oh, but we're still rooting for McCarthy. Win. Just put him in the game. There's never going to be a good game to put him in. There's never going to be a good game. We're running a gauntlet right now. And now we're the last in the division. The Bears are developing really fast, and everybody else is developing. But yet we're in this stuck spot with a team that's probably the best team in the division on paper. But yet we're stuck at this quarterback position yet again when we could have had it solved last year. I understand what we lost when we could have gained, but I don't think that they wanted McCarthy. I'm not buying the whole ankle thing anymore at this point. At this point of the season, we're after the bye. We're doing this. When we're going to play him, when we're going to see him. The Lions game, put him in Thursday, see what happens. And KLC, either you dumb the playbook down for him because you can't go with these long distance. Oh, we want the ball down the field. He's not ready for that. We all know that by now. He's not ready for them developing plays down the field. It's too fast for him right now. So quick passes, run the ball. Run the ball with Mason. You have a workhorse, use him. But
Corey
sorry,
from
drag
Iowa.
that on, guys.
No, dude, we love, dude. Keep jumping on. You're one of our favorite guests on Vikings Vent Line. We love ourselves from Corey from Iowa. Judd, just let's take a minute to respond to some of those comments.
All right. So first of all, I don't think that they want to play Wentz. I don't think that we're at a point now where they're dying to play Wentz and that they think I said this, if he had balled out, then yes, it would be hard. What they're concerned about, and look, if J.J. McCarthy was a veteran quarterback with a background of success, okay, and he had a high ankle sprain, he starts today. There's no question in my mind. Like, if he can be the third QB, he could have played. But what they're concerned about is they're concerned that he had 2 games that, for the most part, were rough, that his ankle is not completely there yet, and so they're literally trying to buy him and themselves time because they know that if they put him back in and it goes sideways and he fails, they're going to basically take his confidence, if it's, on a scale of 1 to 10, if it's at like a 5 now, they're going to take it down to a 1. Mm-hmm. So like this is I feel like we're trying to make this too simple. Now, first of all, could they have made a mistake on McCarthy? Absolutely. I can't tell you that they did not. Mm-hmm. I can tell you he can't play.
Could they have wanted Penix over McCarthy
Absolutely.
and got surprised, like Corey said?
Absolutely.
I do think that's possible.
But,
yes.
But I think the NFL is filled with conspiracies and people that lie and don't tell us the truth, okay? I don't think this one's hard to figure out. Now, you might object to it, and I totally get that. And yes, J.J. McCarthy could have played if he was a veteran. But the reality is, I think that they are, and for O'Connell to come out and talk about the footwork thing, which, yes, has to do with the injury a little bit, but it also has to do with his footwork, period. For O'Connell to talk about that, I thought it was sort of, and heck, for O'Connell to be annoyed last week. I think it's sort of an open book, guys. Like, I don't think that there's something at work here dastardly, right? Where it's like, oh, you guys, I know what you're doing. You're writing him off right now. I think they literally want to put him back in when they think that he can succeed, because if they don't, they're going to have a quarterback who's 22, as has been pointed out several times in the show, with shot confidence. And look, is this ideal? Absolutely not. Here's my personal conspiracy, though, and where they got caught with their pants down. I don't think it was Darnold. I think where they got caught with their pants down was on Daniel Jones. I think they thought he'd stay here. And right now, he'd be playing. And look, if he's playing like he's playing for the Colts right now, J.J. McCarthy's a backup again. But I think they thought that they were going to keep Jones. I think they thought they did him a favor and that he would stick around and that he would have a chance to play. And he said, I think I can, and he was right, go beat out the guy with the Colts as opposed to McCarthy. So if there's any place where I think that this went awry. I think it was more Daniel Jones than Darnold.
Yeah. I agree. I think they were caught way off guard on the Daniel Jones front. I have a bunch of thoughts too, but I'll sprinkle them in later in the show and or tomorrow because we have a ton of real estate here and a bunch more fans to get to. Dex, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Peter next year. Hey, Peter, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, long time, guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you, Peter. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Perfect timing, Dex. Shout out, Dex. New dad. My kids just walked in the door, so perfect timing. That's a new life lesson for you to learn that all your plans you can just count on throwing them out the window as soon as you're working behind the scenes to get in on something like this. But here they are. They'll probably be popping in.
That's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, all good. So congrats, Dex. Mackie, I'm watching. I see Cardinals are up 6-3 on the Packers, and we got Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma.
Wow, because it's the Packers and the Cardinals on Fox.
So
are they playing in Green Bay or no? They're in Arizona for that game. Yeah,
I think they're in Arizona. Wherever Kenny Albert needs to be, that's where they are. But shout out to you. I love the imitation. Keep doing it. Don't take any hate over that. It's awesome. All right.
I'll keep sprinkling.
There's nothing better. It keeps me going. Nothing better than a noon Lions game with Kenny Albert. And Sports Dad, for you kind of sniped me on this one. I had my notebook out. I was noticing throughout the game, like, I don't see zero out there. Where's zero? There's no zero. Where's zero? So is this like, did he get benched for something beyond play on the field? Because he'd be on special teams, wouldn't he? I mean, he's
played special
like
teams.
He did.
Oh yeah,
he was out there on special teams. Yeah,
Okay,
he just got benched.
I didn't see him on special teams.
As a
he's just been like for performance reasons. He's just been
demoted.
Teams, I think what's happened is he had a nice little run there as a UDFA. He's been a regular fixture on this defense for the last 2.5 years. But I think he's so susceptible in coverage and size wise, going like sideline to sideline. There's reasons why he wasn't drafted, and the Vikings did a great job tapping into what he does well. But it feels like opposing teams have put him in some spots coverage wise, and now they have Eric Wilson, so it's like, all right. They just have they have better talent at that position that can supplant him at this point.
Yeah, per PFF going into this game, Ivan Pace had 10 missed tackles this season, tied for most among linebackers in the league. So
there you go.
So benching.
Got to be able to tackle.
Yeah.
I saw they also bench Brandel. I think at halftime. I think they just flat out benched him. Jurgens was in.
No, yes. So during the course of the drive, that was the drive out of the gate that had a lot of good runs by Mason. Brandel came out with like 4 plays left and was replaced by Jurgens for like the rest of that drive. And then Brandel came back. So I think he must have got dinged up.
It was
because
he came right back. It was 2 plays.
Yeah. He came right back.
I know Sports Dad's on this. I'm just fact checking here. And then I had Akers. Was Akers inactive, or was he just not playing today? He could throw a touchdown pass last game, but he can't get on the field today.
Yeah, I mean, he only got on the field for 1 snap last time, and it was very fruitful, productive.
There's my daughter. Yeah, it's your future, Declan.
It is.
There it is. Yeah,
it's true.
I'll stay as long as you guys want to keep me. I got a couple.
Well, we got to run to some other guests. We appreciate you and the fam jumping in here, showing Declan.
Let me give you one more take, Mackie. Let me give you one more take.
All right. Okay.
I got you. When you watch the first half, though, I learned 2 things watching the first half. One was a tale of 2 quarterbacks, right? Carson Wentz looked like he didn't have it today. And I'm not a genius, but I knew he didn't have it today. He was missing things. It wasn't open. He looked like he was hitting the panic button. The moment was too big. And Jalen Hurts, opposite, right? Like, I've seen him do that earlier in the season, but he was locked in when he needed to. He wasn't being asked to do too much, but he was hitting his receivers when they were wide open. Okay, he wasn't making them make diving catches like Addison had to dive every time the ball was thrown near him, and Hawkinson, and everyone was diving for the ball. All right, but so I would have gone to halftime, and I would have learned 2 things. Offensively, as Kevin O'Connell, I would have learned my quarterback is not it. I got to run the ball, and it's okay. Like, at one point, it was it was 21-9, and we had just scored a touchdown by running the ball, and we made it 21-16. Like we could, it was the third quarter. We could keep running.
Yeah.
We could do that. We didn't need Carson. And on defense, we could blitz a quarterback who, if we're sitting back soft, letting him throw all over us, who's eating today. Like today, that's not going to work. We got to blitz.
I will
him
say
today.
the touchdown pass to Smith, guys, that touchdown pass, though, Jalen Hurts the line of scrimmage was the 21, and I believe when I slowed it down to replay, that ball was caught at the Vikings 29. So 21-yard line of Philadelphia. I mean, that was a gorgeous pass.
Which one was that? The
long touchdown that
Smith?
To Smith in the third quarter. So he had the touchdown pass to AJ Brown in the first half, which was a nice throw too. But
that was to open the second half, Smith.
Yeah. Yes, but that ball carry. I mean, that's a hell of a pass.
That play, by the way, according to a friend of the show, Nate Tice. So one of the criticisms of the Eagles' offense had been their predictability. That if they're under center, if they're under center, they're not going to run. They're not going to run play action. They were like really aggressive.
71% of the time or something. Yes.
So that was only the 7th under center play action pass from the Eagles all season. Big time tendency breaker for them. The other 6 under center play actions on the season gained 2 yards, 0, 0, -1, 7, and 1. So they had not hit on really like any kind of productive under center play action pass the entire season until that, whatever it wound up being, like 70-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith.
I feel like tendency breaker is an underrated football term.
It really is.
Like it's just a great because it like translates to life too.
Yeah.
Like my wife didn't expect that tendency breaker.
My tendency, if they would have won the game, would have been to have a celebratory sip of Pendleton whiskey here.
Whiskey.
But instead, it's going to have to be a sip for therapeutic reasons, I guess. I don't know. But, Pendleton Whiskey celebrating here the 2025 Vikings limited edition 10-year stadium anniversary blend and bottle here. It's not just poured, it's earned at Pendleton Whiskey. And in Minnesota, nothing's given. Not the yards, not the wins, not the respect. You earn it, and it's the same spirit behind Pendleton Whiskey, which is a proud partner of the Minnesota Vikings. So when the clock hits 0, whether you're celebrating a well-earned victory or holding your head high or maybe hanging it in mild shame after a hard-fought loss, there's only one whiskey for the moment, and it is this official partner of the Minnesota Vikings, Pendleton Whiskey. It's not just poured, it's earned. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. Underdog buzzing this afternoon here, Dex.
Yeah, it's been a great month. You know, we used to celebrate Kirktober. It's been Boost-tober at Underdog. That's the new thing we celebrate at Underdog. Boost-tober. You probably have noticed some boosts in those lobbies for you. So if you've already been a user, hope you've been taking advantage of it. And you still have plenty of days left here in October to get in on it. So sign up at Underdog, promo code SCORE. When you play your first $5, you'll get $100 in bonus funds to get in on all the different type of pick'ems, whether that's longest receptions, which if you're an Eagles fan, you probably rode higher on that day and hit. So ride higher, ride lower. Go to Underdog and sign up promo code SCORE. Play your first $5 and get $100 in bonus funds.
Judd, also the Canopy Group is helping to power this Vikings Vent Line therapy session today on Purple Daily.
Most definitely, you know why? Because the Canopy Group, we're talking about an in-state-based independent insurance company that has your best interest in mind. You know, much like that award-winning GM goes out constantly on the lookout for the best talent available, the Canopy Group does the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage at the best price. What they're doing is they work with 16 groups of top-tier companies to make sure you have the best insurance roster available for auto, home, health, and business. And at the time that you are set to renew, guess what? You're going to hear from the Canopy Group because they know that you deserve often better than the status quo. So give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, thecanopygroup.com. That's thecanopygroup.com.
All right, let's go back to the vent lines here on Purple Daily. Click that subscribe button and the like button if you are new to the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Who's next, Declan?
All right, Kyle's like, trimming an orange. I saw a knife. I was really worried about what was happening, but I think he's just
sorry.
cutting up an orange.
I was just making an old fashioned.
I was gonna say an old fashioned maybe with that
wow.
Hamilton
Let's
whiskey.
go, dude.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Pouring
Good.
out.
First off, Declan, congratulations as a father
Thank
of
you.
coming to soon. I know the struggles, so absolutely. First off, kind of what I mentioned, even though I know you guys touched on it, aside from Carson Wentz, aside from the half a dozen calls that should have been holding that were no holding, but that's just football. TJ Hawkinson is done. He is garbage. He is arguably the seventh best tight end in our division. I would take the 2 tight ends from Chicago, 2 from Green Bay, obviously Sam Laporta, and then you obviously got Oliver, which is, they're probably about the same, but you're paying the dude top 5 tight end. We just looked at his cap number for next year. It's spicy, but he's probably only top 25. He never came back from the ACL. Just like him and Kyle Pitts, man. You draft him every year in fantasy thinking this is the year that you're going to pop. This is the year to become the best tight end. And you get disappointed every time. I appreciate you guys touching base on it, but I think Father Time has caught him and it never really started to begin with. So
Yeah.
thanks,
No,
guys.
Kyle, cheers to you, man.
See you, Kyle.
Thanks for coming
Enjoy.
on here. Enjoy that old fashioned.
Delicious.
I think the problem is his knee got blown up and he ain't coming back from it. Like he came back in October or November of last year, right? And it was sort of a slow drag a little bit. And you're like, okay, he's gonna have a training camp now. He's gonna have a year. But I mean, just watch the man run. He looks like he's 50.
It's plotting,
he
man. And he's never been a burner for a tight end.
Right.
There's some guys out there that can scoot, but
it looks painful.
So he signed that contract that technically runs through 2027, and it made him one of the highest paid tight ends in the NFL at the time. The good news is if you are looking to get out from underneath that contract, it becomes a lot easier after this year. So he has no guaranteed money left after 2025, I believe, according to overthecap.com. If they were to say, so he has a $21 million cap hit, which would be one of the 6 or 7 highest on the team. You would have to eat like $12 million in dead cap, but you'd save $9 million. And they need to get like 40 or 50 million off the books to be cap compliant. So, and he caught a handful of passes today. Obviously, if that 50-50 ruling in the end zone goes a little bit differently, okay, his game looks a little bit, but it didn't. It was kind of a bad pass too, so I can't blame him too much for that. But he is averaging under 8 yards per reception, which is awful. And it's not just schematics. That's lack of yards after the catch. He's not the same guy. He's not the same guy physically. That's a fair assessment at this point. All right, Declan, back to Vent Line here.
Yeah, let's go to Ben next year. Ben, where are you?
Hey, I'm in Tamarindo, Costa Rica at Sharky's. How are you guys doing?
Is there like a Vikings bar or just like an NFL bar?
Well, this is my bar. So I kind of.
I think we lost.
Look at that.
We lost Ben's audio.
It's
back.
No.
It's back. It's back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, sorry. I'm trying to stay out of the madness because we're in the middle of games and all that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, first of all, love everything you guys do. I mean, I'm here in Costa Rica running a bar, trying to show Green Bay Packers fans a terrible time as much as humanly possible. And, I have my shirt here. 7 bad quarters out of 8 bust.
Wow, you're out. You're out already.
No! This is the shirt I want to wear so every single hater understands what they were saying when we finally have the balls to play our quarterback franchise Super Bowl winning J.J. McCarthy, but unfortunately right now, just because he has a little boo-boo, we don't want to play. I love Kevin O'Connell. Love him. But I am tired of the managing the perfect situation. We are not playing J.J. McCarthy through the pain and suffering like Caleb Williams had last year. How is he going to learn? How is he going to grow? And how is he going to understand that everyone can stop saying this?
Wow, dude, Ben checking in. Thanks for coming on his bar in
Wow.
Costa Rica.
That bar, Ben must be raking in the dough on Sundays.
It's popping there.
Good
right
for you, Ben. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the themes of the show here from the comments and from a bunch of different guests on Vent Line is that they should not be dragging their feet on putting McCarthy in. That they made a mistake not starting him today, essentially, out of the bye week. I tend to believe the reporting and what McCarthy said himself, that it was up to a 6-week timeline and we're sitting at like week 4, week 5. I don't know that there's any if you feel like he's less than 100% and lacking practice and general experience and he's young. If all those things are true, I don't see the benefit in rushing him back. But right. if this continues on throughout like the Lions game, and now we're like into November, and it's clearly less about the ankle and more about they just don't think he's good enough or ready enough for mechanics. I think it's a deeper conversation about his ability. I'd rather him be as close to 100% or get to 100% after a 6-week timeline and then see what he looks like than rush him in emotionally because we're all sick of watching Carson Wentz.
I do agree with the comment that there is no good time to play him. Like there's not a game. It's not like, oh, Detroit, I can't wait for Detroit. So
Yeah.
like at some point in time, you're just going to have to decide he's healthy enough to play. We've got to go back to him. Because you've got to find out. You cannot go through. We can't get to training camp next summer and be like, well, he didn't play much again. So, like, that's my big thing. That's the most criticizable thing is he just can't play.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the Vent Lines here. Dex,
Yeah,
who's
a
next?
few more left.
Mhm.
Let's go to Vikes fan 47 next year on Vent Line.
Hey, fellas, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man. Yeah.
You guys are awesome. I still listen to you every day.
Thank you.
A couple things I want to talk about. Oh, congrats, Deck. First of all, congrats on the child. So the coaches are soft. They are pissing down their leg in the red zone. That is coaching mistakes. They're getting way too cute, and they're not hammering the ball into the end zone. It's a mindset thing. I think having J.J. McCarthy week 1 kind of helped, like, hey, we got to be aggressive. Why? Because he's aggressive. In the preseason, he got in a fight. Okay, games come to like 4 or 5 big plays. Jalen Hurts made 4 or 5 big plays today. He got benched in college. He's not a traditional pocket passer, but he's a Super Bowl champion. Tom Brady got all kinds of ridicule coming out of college, not strong enough arm, not enough good athlete. Hey, he has moxie. He has aggressiveness. He's got the mindset. Like, I'm in it to win it. That's what we need. Harbaugh said on draft night, what is McCarthy? He's an igniter. That's what this team is missing. We got to stop babying McCarthy, get him out there. If he was a starter, you would just play him. But it's because he's a young, unexperienced starter. He's the captain. The team voted him a captain. Get him out there, put him in with his teammates, and let him learn. He will learn. Over time, we might be a 500 team this year, but he learns this year, next year. He's got that attitude. He's got that experience, and next year we're a playoff team. That's all I got to say. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Vikes fan 47. I mean, I don't think they're babying him. I think you could use the word babying if you want to. He had a high ankle sprain. It wasn't like a fake injury. He had a high ankle sprain, and it's been about a month. And high ankle sprains can be tricky. And he'll be back at some point. I think it's like we're like sharpening this pencil of he's going to be back at some point. If he's not back by like the Lions game, it's more of a panic situation for me. But I'm not gonna like get on the organization for not starting him if he's not ready physically to start today. He's not, it's two things. If he had 20 starts under his belt, you'd feel better about putting him out there less than 100%. They're dealing with an injury and the fact that he's barely played, and they're just waiting for a better spot physically to put him in. I'm not going to rip them for this.
It's very fair to say, like, if this is what people want to hear, they are concerned. Like, yes, they're concerned. You wouldn't work on his mechanics again. Like if this was just a rest, like they literally had him on the field. They took him to Europe because they thought he might practice, where his ankle actually, because guess what? Long flights cause your ankle to blow up more.
That is criticizable. That is criticizable.
I don't understand that one. But anyway, do I think the Vikings are concerned? Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think that they are concerned that they're working with his mechanics. O'Connell can say he enjoyed it. He's a coach. But is that ideal? No, absolutely not. So do I think that there's worry here? Yes. Do I think that it's over? God, I hope not.
Yeah. By the way, the red zone thing has come up a couple times, rightfully so, because they were 1 for a bajillion in the red zone today. But I've heard kind of if you're failing in the red zone or succeeding in the red zone, is that more coaching or talent? And I'm going to throw an interesting nugget by you guys that maybe we can expand on this week. So last year, if you give the full 2024 season to play out, full sample size of like 5 months of red zone success rate, here are the most successful red zone offenses from last year, a full season in 2024. And you tell me, is this coaching or is it just you need a dude at quarterback? The number 1 red zone team in the league, Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Number 3, Detroit Lions. And I'll argue that was really nice scheme. Also, best offensive line and running back tandem and a number 1 overall talent quarterback who's super accurate in Jared Goff. It was like a stew of reasons, right? Number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a defensive-minded head coach and a rotating carousel of offensive coordinators. I think maybe Baker Mayfield coming into his own, former number 1 overall pick, has something to do. Dex disagrees.
No, I agree.
Baker. Okay.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like he's just like become what he was supposed to become 7 years ago. Number 1 overall pick quarterback.
Yep.
Number 5, Bengals, 5th best red zone team in Joe Burrow. 6, Commanders. Nice to have Jaden Daniels running it in from the 6-yard line, right?
Sure.
And then 7 was the Denver Broncos. And you have Bo Nix, who's mobile and talented as a rookie quarterback and had like 60 starts in college or whatever it was. But you also have one of the greatest offensive scheming coaches in recent NFL history in Sean Payton there. So unless you have a guy at quarterback like that, if you have Carson Wentz starting, for example, you're going to stall out in the red zone a lot. So you need JJ to be a guy that can be great on third down, be great in the red zone, and obviously being able to play first is the first step in being great at those things.
Just speaking about today's game, though, I did think that O'Connell got over his skis with his quarterback. And to go back to what we discussed, you got to run the ball. Like that's the thing. That Detroit game, you literally had a quarterback peeing down his pant leg, and you were like, "No, we're going to make this work." It's like, Kevin, no, you're not. Don't be stubborn. Don't be dumb here, because you're going to get dead as far as the drive goes, right? So yeah, grand conversation. You need a dude. Today, though, when you just had to get some freaking points, it was a head scratcher. And unfortunately, the reality is this, too. And I saw Hawkinson very hot, told by 2 officials on the field that was a catch. And New York came back and said no. But the really sad thing about TJ's disintegration as a player is, like, that's where he was supposed to make a difference all the time. Like, if you wanted to pass the ball, I mean, we talked about this how many times? It was going to be Hawkinson in the back of the end zone, going up, out-muscling guys, all the things that perhaps Justin can't do there. So, yeah, I get the frustration today, but, yes, it would help to have a dude, and Carson Wentz is certainly not ever going to be a dude.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, post-knee injury, has played now in 15 games, and because that one got wiped away today, he has 1 touchdown in 15 games post-surgery. And it's not like, and Sam Darnold was slinging it last year. And
yeah, the playoff game, he caught 1 against the Rams. That was it.
Okay, so 2.
So 2, yeah.
Because he has the one this year too.
Right.
So 2 if you count the playoffs.
It was still supposed to be a thing. Like that injury has, because I just think he's cooked now, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, Dex, back to Vent Line here, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's go to Nick next year. Nick, what's up, man? You're on Vikings.
Hey, guys.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good, man.
So I flew in from Sacramento, California. This is my second Vikings game ever. My first was the Raider game with Josh Dobbs, which was 3-0. So silver lining, it was better than that.
It was an entertaining football game in some sick, perverse ways today. That was just awful football.
It was fun. I think that was a catch by Hawkinson. If the Devonta Smith challenge was a catch, that's a catch. I don't know if it makes a difference at the end of the day, but I think it was a catch. Watching this game, Wentz just isn't it, and I'm super disappointed in the Vikings for not really hammering the backup quarterback in the offseason. I know we've talked about that ad nauseum, but it's very disappointing that we're stuck with Wentz, who doesn't seem to even have a grip on the offense, to be honest. That pass to Addison I think it was in the first quarter, he had to come back to the ball. He barely made that catch in bounds. That's a touchdown if he floats that ball. There was another couple that could have gone to Jefferson where he could have at least scooted for 40. It was so disappointing. But bright side, I love Minneapolis. Super fun being here. I've been to Red Rabbit, Butcher and the Boar, and tonight is Manny's. So
Wow,
I can't
let's
say
go.
enough good things about the city.
Oh,
Good stuff, man.
You're eating good, man. That's awesome.
You're hitting the right
notes.
notes.
We're doing it right.
Hitting the right notes. Love it, man. Nick, we'll enjoy the rest of your evening as you digest food and this loss. And
Thanks,
hopefully we'll see you again sometime. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to lose a football game, you might as well eat at some awesome places.
That's really good. That's a really nice hat trick of restaurants right there is what that is.
It is. And maybe while Nick is in town, if he's, looking for a better HVAC situation, Standard Heating and air conditioning can help him out, huh?
Yeah, Standard Heating, standardheating.com. Right now, still through the month of October, you can get $30 off your furnace tune-up. My guy Cameron came out to my place before I bought this house to check out the HVAC because I had no idea what condition it was. The seller didn't really, wasn't certain either, so luckily they gave me the pass there, but also they made sure the air conditioner was working in the summer. You don't want to wait. You don't want to delay any of this. Vinny, I completely agree. You can't wait for your HVAC system to be ready to rock. So contact Standard Heating, join their Smart Club. They power our hottest takes, too, which we'll obviously deliver twice this week, boys, on Monday and Friday with the Vikings playing a Thursday night game, too. So go to standardheating.com to take care of those HVAC needs.
Hey, Factory, FVP and Menards is one of our great partners here this season. And Menards is your one-stop shop for FVP auto parts. And that includes Splash ethanol-free RV and marine antifreeze. So if you're looking to winterize some of your toys for the upcoming colder months, Splash ethanol-free RV and marine antifreeze is formulated to protect down to minus 75 degrees Fahrenheit.
Football.
Hopefully that doesn't happen because that would be terrible. But if it does, your swimming pools, boats, recreational vehicles, campers, and vacation homes will be protected. So head to Menards and stock up on Splash antifreeze because performance matters on the road and beyond. And hey, thanks to Pepsi, they've been pumping out these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups, Pepsi, the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings. And you can get these cups at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you stop in and order 12 wings of any style, you can get a Justin Jefferson souvenir Pepsi cup with a QR code on the side. When you scan that QR code, you can enter to win Victor's Ride, your very own Polaris 1000 ATV that if you win, he'll drive it right up your driveway with his little Zubas. He'll just drive up with his, I don't know if he can see well out of the, someone else was driving it the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And Victor was like riding it.
Yeah, he's just chilling. That's actually Judd driving it. It's Judd.
It was.
Yeah.
And they were having a conversation just like they do.
Nice
in the
long
elevators.
talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, order 12 wings of any style, get one of these Justin Jefferson Pepsi souvenir cups, scan the QR code for your chance to win. Pepsi, the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings, and Buffalo Wild Wings is the preferred sports bar of the Minnesota Vikings. All right, Declan, who do we got next?
Yeah, a few more. Let's go to NPD. NPD, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hello, guys. I've been watching you guys on and off, but it's always a pleasant to listen to you guys, even when you're ranting, which I love. Just want to make sure. Oh, well, and the thing is, you should have like a vent line for Twins and Timberwolves, just so you know. But Vikings, regardless of anything. Basically, what I've actually had a pre-notion before the season is not high expectations because of J.J. McCarthy, rookie quarterback. I don't care about last year. He did not play. But did not have high expectations for them. Roughly about 500 season. And, of course, the backup quarterback, Carson Wentz, basically. Are we really having too much high expectations for them, even though we are venting about them actually losing to the defending Super Bowl champions this week? So,
I mean, okay, yeah, MPD brings up kind of a good philosophical question, which is, if you zoom out, they're sitting here at 3-3, close loss to the defending Super Bowl champions. They've weathered a massive injury storm in the first 5 weeks, including week to week not really knowing who the quarterback's going to be because McCarthy's been hurt. They're not 1-5. They're not 2-4. They're 3-3. Is there a gap between realistic expectations and how we are speaking about this football team?
I don't think so, because I mean, again, today was there for you to take, and you didn't take it. And today was just a great example of how games in this league work. So, like, do I feel that I should take a step back and say, well, Carson Wentz played and blah, blah, blah? No, the game was there for you. And there were chances. It's not like the Eagles came in here and steamrolled your ass. You had chances. So, no, I don't feel that we have overshot our expectations, even though things have certainly changed since the season began. I think it would be very realistic to say that this team should be 4-2, which would be great after today's game, and that this is one of the games you're going to look back on. I think the Falcons game, you probably just say, okay, Pittsburgh wasn't a great loss, but this to me is the worst loss of the season.
Yeah, I think
thus far. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I go back and forth a little bit, because obviously if before the season you would have laid out the circumstances with the injuries and the quarterback situation and all these things, I would have said, oh yeah, I mean they're not going to be 6-0. they're and some of the reasons why they're losing these games, like the red zone stuff, 1 for 5 or whatever, 1 for 6 in the red zone. Yeah, well, part of the reason is because you got short-circuiting blue screen of death Carson Wentz, who's your starting quarterback right now, and he's gonna do some dumb stuff in the red zone, or you're gonna have a backup center who's never played before. It was shocking that it didn't happen in that first game, really, and he snaps the ball over Carson Wentz's head and pushes him back out of field goal range, and now Big Leg Bill has to come in and bail you out with the 59-yarder. Like, some of the reasons why they're losing these games is because of the injuries and the guys that are in there. So, like, it's fair to point that out, but there's other stuff that's happening that is extremely annoyingly self-inflicted. Feels like they should be 4-2 despite all of the bad things that they've had to weather, though. I think that is a fair statement. They should have won that game today, for example.
Yes, until the Eagles got the last touchdown pass, I thought the Vikings were going to win. I really did. I thought they were going to find a way to win.
Especially once they forced him into that third down, it was like, oh, they're going to get the ball back. And
exactly. Missed field goal. Just a lot of things happened, and I thought, okay, you know what? It's going to be ugly, but no one's going to care in 2 weeks. And it just feels like this is a really disappointing loss that was unnecessary. It was not a schedule loss. Philadelphia is not as good as we expected them to be. It would have been a great way to start off this 4-game stretch, and ultimately, it's not going to go that way.
Yeah. All right, let's go to George here. He'll be the last vent liner on Purple Daily here on the YouTube channel.
Hey guys, how are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Wow, it's I've been a Viking fan since maybe longer than you, Judd. I want to say 1971, right after the Chiefs beat them in the Super Bowl, and so I've been through a lot of highs and lows. And it's easy to get negative having that long history, but let me just say this. I do think that we have the major ingredients in place to be a really good team. That's what's so frustrating about this. And what bothers me most about us is that it just feels like our coach is maybe should not be our offensive coordinator. That's the truth. We need to hire a real offensive coordinator. We need to kind of run this like the Chiefs do. He can oversee the offense, but he needs to be the game manager. He needs to be the culture builder. He needs to do all the great things he does politically, the speeches he gives. The players want to play for him. It's terrific. I think it's inspirational, But the reality is he's a CEO. He's not an offensive coordinator, and he's proving that. Our offense has no identity. We go and get players and to create a more balanced attack, and then we go back to this kind of dream world. Like, oh, we have the best receivers, and they can make double and triple and moves, and we can magically win games if the quarterback just does this. I don't want that. I've been around a long time. Here's what wins Super Bowls: consistency. And we need consistency on offense. We need and believe me, I think he does have all the great qualities of a CEO. And I do think he's probably a great offensive mind, but he's like an idiot savant. He doesn't look up and see the field for what it is. I mean, we get down at the goal line, it's 2nd and 1, and we throw multiple times, and we don't run Jordan Mason right up the middle. And I'm talking about up the middle. I don't mean wide. I don't mean off tackle. I mean between the center and the guard, or the guard and the tackle at worst, because he's a one-cut back. And let him torture and punish the defense. And I just feel like we have all the makings to do it. And then I could say the same thing about the other side of the ball. Flores, who I actually think is the identity of this team. It is Flores, but he's a gambler too. And that last third down play where they made that terrible completion to give them, the 3rd and 14 or whatever it was at the end of the game. I mean, how do you leave big receivers one-on-one against little cornerbacks with no help over the top? It's 3rd and 14. This is a hard play to make in the NFL. Play your standard defense. Don't overthink this. Don't be an idiot savant. Don't try and wipe your ass you wipe your ass with your pants down, not up. This is an easy deal. Figure it out. So anyway, all that ranting, I do want to say this. We got to go back to our quarterback. We have to see what we got. We have to go back to a balanced attack, and that means throwing slant plays, throwing bubble plays on the outside, but not negative plays backwards. Those are a waste of time. We need to attack the defense and put them on our heels, and we don't have to be the best offense in the NFL. We just need to be consistent. That's my rant. So we need to, our ownership needs to step up, and our management needs to step up and pull Kevin aside after the season or during the season and say, look, man, this is great. I love your enthusiasm, but we're here to build a long-term Super Bowl winner. You got to get yourself a real offensive coordinator. That's the way I feel.
All right, George, bringing the heat to wrap here on Vikings Vent Line. It was very passionate, very entertaining. I will say that George, the first sentence out of his mouth was, the Vikings need to operate more like the Chiefs. Well, one, they have Patrick Mahomes. And number two, Andy Reid calls plays. Andy Reid is the offensive coordinator and the head coach of the Chiefs. And they have Patrick Mahomes. So.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Do I want them to give play calling to Wes Phillips? The answer is probably no. I do not believe Wes has ever called plays before.
Well, I think people would say Josh McCown because he's the more household name.
Yeah, he's down on the field, though, and you probably ideally like your play caller to be upstairs.
I know you'd make him the offensive coordinator next year or something.
Yeah, I got to think about that because I don't disagree with his points. I think some of his points are good ones, but that being said, do I think the problem is play? Well, if you could assure me the new play caller wouldn't try to make the head coach happy and would run the ball more, I would be intrigued. But I somehow think that since the head coach still has the head coach title, I'm not sure you're going to get a play caller who's going to go completely rogue and tell Kevin to bleep off.
It's by the way, like for me, the play calling nitpicks are it's like some of the red zone stuff drives me a little bit nuts. The not running the ball, you don't have to abandon the run. It's little things. So I push back at some of it, but again, at the end of the day today, the best offenses in the league average about 6.2, 6.3 yards of play offensively. The Vikings were right under 6 yards of play offensively today.
Yeah.
And they turn the ball over twice, and they stall out late on the field at the 6 yard line, 5 yard line. So it's not like there's not some grand, huge offensive play calling issue. There's little tweaks here and there. And also, they're operating with bottom half of the league quarterback talent, or maybe not talent, but bottom half of the league quarterback play.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the teams that we're comparing to, like the Chiefs, per George's point, literally have either the best or second best quarterback of all time operating their offense.
Yeah.
That's a cheat code that Kevin O'Connell doesn't have access to that Andy Reid does.
I think sometimes we also confuse individual play calling with identities. And right now, like if I'm O'Connell right now, I go to back to the drawing board a bit for identity. And I say, I got to run the ball more. I just have to. I can't. And look, I don't want J.J. McCarthy. Do not put him in and turn him loose. We've seen it. So don't do that. Like, you developed something with Darnold and with Kirk, who were veterans, that worked. And that's awesome. And they could do what you wanted. Sam Darnold had a great arm. Carson Wentz does not. We don't know that J.J. McCarthy does. Like, he's got a strong arm. But I think it's an identity thing. And I think what O'Connell has to sit down and realize is I'm going to have to do things I don't like because it's the only way to win football games. That doesn't mean like this play call was wrong and this play call was right and this. I'm talking when the team comes in after a Tuesday where you're working no day off for your quarterback and the coaching staff. When you're working on things and they come in on Wednesday, I'm talking on identity. That's what they're lacking right now.
I mean, this is maybe oversimplifying it, but they're pretty good at moving the ball between the 20s through the air. And Justin Jefferson, quite frankly, is one of the best of all time between the 20s through the air. Correct. Jordan Addison, but between the 20s, I love their passing game. Once it gets into close quarters, in part because you don't have a generational quarterback talent to just carry you in when the field is crammed.
Right.
You know, Carson Wentz, and I mean, Sam Darnold was actually pretty damn good in the red zone. He also was a top 3 overall draft guy too. So yeah, till the end of the season. But a young McCarthy at this point, leaning on the run game inside the 20, inside the 10. So that from an identity standpoint, yeah, just if you need to throw the ball up and down between the 20s to get down there, awesome. And then pound it down their throats once you get to the 11-yard line. Once it's 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1 at the 6-yard line. Just run it over your left tackle and left guard.
I agree completely. Here's something else. So the Eagles took a page from the Steelers' playbook. They went heavy a ton. Bring Rouse in. Go heavy. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not, but give me another big man, a slightly overweight dude who's strong, and put him on your bleeping line and go heavy. Like, it works. It works. And if
it's almost like it's almost like, well, if we do that, it becomes too obvious that we're going to run the football.
That's the point.
You can literally walk up there. So, like, dude, last year, the Lions, the Eagles last year, not as much this year.
Yeah.
Literally walk up and say, we're going to run the ball here from the 8-yard line on 2nd and goal, and we're actually going to go that way. We're going to go to the right. Have fun. We're gonna walk you back 3 yards, and then our running back is going to make one cut and jump into the end zone. Jordan Mason is very good in close quarters, breaking tackles, converting first downs. So I think that's going to be a wrap here on Vikings. 2 hours of therapy after a 28-22 loss. And a bajillion more things to dissect. Tomorrow, we're going to give our hottest Vikings takes. Chef Judd will dice up a pie chart of blame. And pretty soon, there'll be another Vikings Vent Line on Thursday night after Chargers-Vikings. So it kind of feels like if you still think they can make the playoffs, and I think the football power index is going to be not so kind to them in that category when we do our Tuesday State of the Vikings, they probably have to win 2 of the next 3. Because there's a ton of, like, they're last in their division right now, and there's other teams now that are sitting here with better records than the Vikings in the NFC that you wouldn't really, like the Falcons are 3-2 and have a tiebreaker over the Vikings. The Panthers won their 3rd straight, are 4-3. Like, the teams that you're fighting against for a wild card spot, there's a lot of teams to climb over here. The Niners, the Seahawks, the Rams all have better records than the Vikings. So if you don't win 2 of your next 3, the math gets really, really hard in the second half of the season.
The Chargers at home, so the advantage is they get to stay home for Thursday night in the 3rd quarter, are losing 31-10 to the Colts.
How about that?
Yeah.
Which could actually be a bad thing because now they're going to be all prickly for that game on Thursday.
By the way, their jerseys, they look like highlighter pens. The Chargers are wearing something today that should not be allowed. It's awful.
I haven't seen it yet.
They literally are just yellow.
Yeah, it looks pretty terrible.
To go back and check it out.
But anyway.
So, yeah, thanks for everyone who has stuck around here for the entirety of this post-game show. This is the place to be after every Vikings game, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And you guys, the fans, make it just the most fan-friendly, best post-game experience in Minnesota sports. So thank you guys, whether they win or lose. We always love commiserating with you here. Judd from the press box, Dex and Phil from the studios. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, for some hottest Vikings takes.